very own Molly Gambier joining us from London as well. Molly, great to see you. Thank you for your coverage for the last week. I really want to talk to you about the mood of the people, and most of all, you know, we've watched it internationally. Has there been a lot of international representation, even among the people that have come to watch, as well as dignitaries?
Well, Susan, let me begin by saying that it's been an event that's taking place after 70 years, a 1,000-year-old ceremony. Today being the D-Day that London has been getting up for months now, and I have to say the weather gods did not quite cooperate as predicted. It's been raining through the day, in fact. It did quite literally rain on the parade, but having said that, that did not really dampen the spirits of the people on the ground. They've been camping away, like I said, you know, on the Mall. They have been leaving no stone unturned to show their enthusiasm on the streets, come what may, the rain, the cold. But beyond that, the sentiment on the ground has been a mixed one. We have seen, as expected, some protests on the ground as well. Some arrests have been made as well of the leaders of the Republic group, that's the anti-monarchy protesters, the Not My King movement also making its presence felt. As far as the security is concerned, 11,000 police officers making sure that this event was a smooth one. And it did turn out to be a smooth one. As far as the tradition is concerned, the ceremony itself has not changed much over the past 1,000 years. Some would say 7 decades is a long enough time for changes to be brought about. And we did see some of them. It is a ceremony that stood out for the reasons that the king chose to reuse some historic items this time around. There was the swearing of the allegiance to the king, the chorus of millions as it's been called. That's for the first time the public being invited to be a part of the ceremony in their own way. The personal prayer also that was written for the king. We also saw the female clergy playing an important role, leaders of different religious faiths being a part as well. So those are the small but grand efforts that were made to bring about some changes as far as the ceremony is concerned to, you know, quote unquote, stay and catch up with the time. He has been called a king who's been ahead of his time, also an eco-friendly king for his sustainability efforts. But it remains to be seen whether or not after the 3-day-long nationwide celebrations, those very questions that have been raised in the build-up to the ceremony remain. Because let's face it, this is a ceremony that's coming at a time when the UK has been dealing with the cost of living crisis. Those who've strongly been contesting the fact that millions should not have been spent on a ceremony like this, those arguing against that fact, saying, well, it's all about keeping up with the tradition. The sentiment between the contrast between the older population and the younger population. Through the week, we've been speaking to a number of people. As you asked, they have also been coming in from different parts of the world, not just different parts of the UK, to witness this ceremony in all its grandeur, be physically present for a ceremony like this one that's taking place after 70 years. After all, they wanted to be witnessing this just to, you know, be able to catch a glimpse of the royal couple was enough for them to be making all that effort, camping away overnight for days, in fact, right next to Buckingham Palace. And it's been just the beginning of what's going to be a weekend of celebrations, Susan. We're going to be seeing street parties. At home, we see celebrations within communities, but this is a nationwide celebration that millions have watched from around the world on their TV sets as well.
Absolutely, as we have been doing here in the United States. However, it's important to note that no U.S. president in history has ever attended a UK coronation. And while there was some drama about why U.S. President Joe Biden didn't attend in person, well, he didn't want to break with tradition. Now, there's a long history about why American presidents have not attended, but it all started with Queen Victoria, where relations weren't that great in the very beginning. So the U.S. president, Van Buren, decided not to go. And then every president after that has made the same choice, regardless of that quote unquote special relationship between the two sides. But Dr. Jill Biden, the First Lady of the United States, is there. And I was interested to note that Chinese Vice President Hang Zheng is also attending. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the people that are attending the ceremony, politicians and celebrities alike?
Absolutely. We've seen royals, of course, coming in from around the world. Like you mentioned, we've already seen the spectacular visuals of these world leaders and religious figures, politicians from around the world that have been standing out. Of course, the British Prime Minister himself being a part of that ceremony. We have seen the presence of these world leaders, which, of course, was something that was expected to make headlines, because these are 2,000 guests who've flown in from different parts of the world to be a part of these celebrations. But having said that, the very fact that we have an event like this taking place at a time when we're looking at the relationship between the UK and the US, and the kind of changing times that we are looking at in the context of the geopolitical events. That is something that has been discussed as well, that we have been speaking to experts on the ground about as well. And the larger sentiment has been that, this is a day of celebrations and not that of politics. And that, does not take away from the fact that there will continue to be a lot of buzz about where things are headed from here onwards. It's too early to say whether or not we see any statement that will really stand out as far as the world leaders are concerned. But it remains a fact that on the ground, this has been an event that does stand out for multiple reasons, but at the same time, that's been all about the pomp and show, and even the sentiment as far as the the geopolitical statements are concerned, and the UK economic crisis are concerned. Those questions, a lot of the people we've been speaking to are saying that, those questions can wait for now. And today has been all about celebration, according to them.
Our very own Molly Gambier reporting live from London, as she has been in the past week. For this historic event, the coronation of King Charles III has now taken place, and Britain has a new king in this modernized 21st century age, a tradition that lasted 1,000 years